欢迎您来到我们的跨文化系列. Welcome to our cross-cultural series. Today we want to talk about surface culture and deep culture, two very important ideas for understanding how we can work better with our colleagues. You may have already seen a picture of an iceberg with the surface on top of the water and the majority of the iceberg down below the water. This is a fair comparison to culture. There are a lot of things on the surface, what we call surface culture, that we can see, we can touch, and that we can hear, that we sometimes attribute directly to culture. A quick way of observing this might be saying, what are the things people say? The things they do? When do they speak? How do they speak? How do they act? These areas are what we call surface culture, and if we understand it, we can have a basic understanding of how not to offend people and how to get along and avoid some of the simpler mistakes. But if we really want to have a long-term understanding of our colleagues, we want to understand what's happening below the surface. We call this deep culture, and it's embodied by the values, the beliefs, the attitudes, and the assumptions that a culture has. I'd like to share a story that shows how some of these cultural elements can be misinterpreted or misunderstood when we have different values and belief systems in place. Recently, I had coffee with two friends, one from the US and one from China. While we were having coffee, we came to one of our favorite topics, our kids. My American friend has a daughter who's just graduated from medical school and has gone to rural Thailand in order to help the people there as a doctor. My Chinese friend asked a very simple question back. 那你会支持她吗? Would you support her? My American friend thought about it and very quickly said, 当然我会的. Of course, I'll support my daughter. Both sides thought, wow, that was easy. We both really understand what's going on. However, they completely missed each other's points. For my American friend, to show support means to enthusiastically support from your heart and support with your words, to show that you're ready to be a supportive mother. From my Chinese friend's point of view, to support meant not only to support with your heart, but also to support with your wallet by sending a little bit of extra money to Thailand. These 2 points of view were not very clear to each other, but when they said they supported their daughter, it was a very different meaning. So, very likely, if you think about your own experience, there's probably been a time where you've expressed yourself and been misunderstood, or you've misunderstood your colleague from a different culture. It seems to me that deep culture can be represented in 3 key areas of the workplace. The first is how we communicate, whether it's how we share words or ideas. The second is how we make decisions, particularly when we're looking at how to look at a timeline or a project. And the third is, of course, how we think about things and how we express that thinking. So, if culture is this difficult to express between friends, and if it isn't always that easy to understand even for our own culture, what are some tips? What are some things we can be doing differently? Here are some tips that I would suggest that we work on. The first is that we understand that assumption is our number one enemy. When we realize that our common sense isn't always that common, it's easier for us to find out what we can be doing differently. The second is to really ask why. Not just about other people, but also about ourselves. And finally, let's try listening a little more than speaking so we can get a better idea of the full picture before we make our decisions. So remember, if you're working in a cross-cultural environment, enjoy the adventure and good luck.